Good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on empowering your institution with its learning, the LMS designed for teaching and learning. My name is Philip Duffield, and I am a pedagogical consultant with its learning. So that means I'm used to working with teachers and organizations in implementing its learning in a way that will meet their pedagogical vision. So today we'll focus on the Itslearning solution and how it supports your transition into distance and hybrid education. Specifically, I will show you some core tools and discuss how they support your teaching processes that you're doing in schools today. Okay, looks like we are good to go. So the agenda that I have today, just make sure everyone can hear me. It looks good. Yes, the agenda that we'll have today, I will review who this presentation is for to give you a good idea of what you should expect out of the presentation. I'll make a brief introduction into the pedagogical design and tools within Itslearning. And then finally, we'll get to the main section, the presentation. And this will focus on the tools and processes that support blended learning and hybrid and distance education. Finally, I will share some links that you may find useful. I'm not sure that we'll have time for question and answer today, but we do have a questions functionality in the GoToWebinar tool. So if you have a question that you need answered, please type it in there and I'll make sure you get a response in the not too distant future. Okay, who is this webinar for? So today's webinar is written for pedagogical leaders, technical leaders, teachers, heads of organizations or departments who are looking to solve challenges encountered in the rapid deployment of hybrid and distant education. So we've had interest from organizations that relied solely on Microsoft Teams or Google for Education, and are now looking for tools specifically designed to support teaching and learning processes. So maybe you have an existing learning platform, but you're finding that it doesn't meet the needs of today's teachers and students. So you're in the right place to learn more about Itslearning. Okay, first I want to talk about the design of Itslearning. We're built around the educational processes, the teaching and learning processes that are happening in your classrooms and schools and universities already today. So things like planning your lessons, planning your modules, your content, and making it engaging for students so that they become interested in the objectives. Moving through to the physical acts of teaching, so using your chosen strategies such as blended learning or project-based learning, and giving you a range of tools to save time and focus more on your students. Assessment is crucial in the learning process, so we offer formative and summative assessment tools. And I'm excited to show you some of the ways that our solution encourages students and teachers to reflect on their learning and to improve for next time. So also reporting, it's crucial for teachers, for departments, for universities as a whole. And reporting should be actionable. It should give the teacher an insight into what's happening and allow them to make corrective actions and support their decision-making processes. So I'm excited to show you that. So I will use these tags that you see here, engage, teach, assess, on my presentation so you know which area of the learning process the tools are oriented towards. Just finally, before we get into Itslearning, I think it's important to show the core design principles of our solution. Firstly, being device agnostic is absolutely critical. Students are using a range of devices to connect today. We want to meet them on their iPhone, on their Android phone, on their laptop. So whatever device the student has, we need to support it. Finally, cloud integrations, whether you're using Office 365 or Google for Education, as your productivity tools, it's essential that those are well integrated into its learning so that you get the best of those productivity tools, but you also get the tools specifically designed for teaching and learning. And finally, just down at the bottom there, usability and accessibility. Everything we do is for naught if students can't use the system, if they can't use it in a smooth and useful way. And we always say that the system that teachers and students love is the one that they'll use. So that is a core design principle of ours. Now, the first step to engaging students is usability. I want you to notice how on the login page here of Itslearning, the way that information is spaced across the page isn't overloaded, and you'll find this design principle throughout Itslearning. This is about the cognitive load that reading a website or information puts on users. And our idea is that reducing the cognitive load and not bombarding the users with too much information will increase their opportunities in learning. So the design is welcoming, and it shows the students and teachers the important information in the cards or the courses that they're a member of. So this is a course card here. It's language teaching. And I want you to notice that students and teachers are given the most important information, the follow-up tasks that they have in the course and the new announcements. And students really like these course cards because you can drag them and drop them and organize them much like they do their laptop or written folio. Users can also choose to see the updates page when they log in, and Itslearning remembers their choice. So regardless of what users choose, they get their preferred view. The updates page gives users a list of all the tasks that they're responsible for. So teachers are shown activities that students have completed in their courses, and students can see a list of all of the tasks sorted by due date that they have across their courses. The update stream gives an overview of all announcements and interactivity within a user's courses, and it gives students a really easy view of what is new since I last visited here. The events block is super powerful. So most universities, they provision their calendar events into Itslearning via an integration with a timetable system. And the automation that Itslearning does here by helping teachers to enrich those events is really powerful. In this example, the teacher has included a Microsoft Teams meeting link directly in the series of events. So whenever students log in, they see the event, that it's an online weekly seminar, they see the plans, and they see the team links or the Zoom links to join those online sessions. And further demonstrating the ease of use, Itslearning follows modern notification symbols and modern design. So students can see, for instance, their messages. They get the little pop-up with the orange number showing how many new messages are available. And this chat-like messaging system is really familiar to students and teachers, and it's powerful for synchronous communication, for student-to-student chatting, but also for asynchronous communication, things that happen back and forth. So teacher announcements to the course group or even organization-wide announcements, in this example, from the Faculty of Education. And as expected, when using a mobile phone, users receive push notifications and really intuitive and easy to use. Finally, the notifications symbol also gives users the important information that they need within their tool. All right, let's have a look at the Itslearning Plans tool. Like I say, we automate the common processes, such as linking calendar events with the pedagogical design of the course. So in this example, a student has clicked on their calendar event, and they instantly get access to that Zoom and Microsoft Teams live meeting links and to their course plans. So really powerful there and really saves teachers time. Students see the relevant plans on their course overview page. The overview page is like a similar portal into everything that's new within your course with your tasks and your announcements and the plans, which are the relevant content. Now, students can, of course, work ahead or work back if they've missed some school. They can use the Plans tab to view the full Plans tool. But today, I want to show the student's perspective when a student logs into and sees a module or a lesson or a series of learning by clicking the big Start button right there in the middle. And we call this the play plan, and it's a full screen view of the current module or topic. Students begin with a description. It's really important to let the students know what they're expected to be able to do at the end of this presentation or at the end of this learning sequence. And I want to show you how Itslearning allows teachers and course creators to scaffold the learning. So learners can jump ahead through to the discussion forum or the assignment at the end of the activity, but they can also just navigate through the sequence of learning as created by the course designer, your instructional designer, or your teacher. As an educator, I think it's super important that we present the learning objectives of each module or each topic. So these can be objectives from your national or state curriculum, or they can be customized by your university or your department that you work for. And presenting learning objectives to the student informs them of what they're expected to be able to do or know at the end of a module. So let's navigate to the next resource. Typically, a new module will start with some content, and Itslearning allows teachers to use any type of content or medium that they like. We're super supportive of video and audio and integrated content that maybe you've purchased from other sources. And in this example, the teacher is going to share a lecture recording. So video is, of course, super important in distance and hybrid education. But what we allow you to do is to supplement a video with some reflective questions, some challenging questions that as you're watching this lecture, I want you to think about these questions before the next workshop. Another example of that is a quick interactive poll and asking students to input some questions or to think about something during the lecture and for everyone to be able to see the results of these poll questions right in there with the lecture. Let's have a look at how the teacher created this page. Firstly, they use the Kaltura or Panopto video hosting integrations that Itslearning has. Like I said, we have lots of integrations that allow you to bring in your content and your other solutions right into the content within your learning platform. So right there in the rich text editor, you have things like Microsoft Teams, Kaltura, H5P, Panopto, or any other apps or modules that your organization uses. The next piece of the module is a shared PowerPoint. I did mention earlier that Itslearning has partnerships with Microsoft and Google, so it's really important to us that we display these documents in an easy way for the student. There's nothing worse than having to download a PowerPoint on your mobile phone, so it's all displayed right there in the browser. You can even edit it live in there if you like. And again, this is made available by the partnership that we have with Google and Microsoft. In this sequence of learning, in our learning design, we've provided students with a variety of ways to consume information. One of the interactive tools that I really like is the discussion forum. It allows for deeper thought and contemplation, and the tool is useful for intellectual exchange and for those deeper contemplative questions that can't happen live in a face-to-face web meeting. So teachers get a nice report of the engagement within the discussion forum, so it's really easy at a glance to see who's been active, who's been replying, who's been contributing. Discussions allow students to work together at a time that suits them well. I mentioned video earlier. If you're not using a hosted video solution, we make it really easy to work with video that you find online. Just copy and paste the URL, and Itslearning will transform it and embed the content directly into the content for you. I want to give you a sneak peek of the assignment module. This is what we'll move on to next, but a really powerful way for students to submit work. In this example, we're looking at a group activity, and one thing that Itslearning has done is embedded the chat functionality into the assignment task. So John and Mona are working together on their assignment, and they can chat directly within here and collaborate on their group activity. So speaking of the assessment tools available, let's have a look at some of the formative and summative assessment options. The task is typically something that is done offline, such as participation or an observation or a presentation that the student makes. It could be an end of module checklist or just formative feedback that the teacher wants to give to students about their group project, for example. The assignment is, I think, the most commonly used tool within Itslearning, and at its core, it's about submitting digital work. Traditionally, it's an essay, but lots of opportunities to use video, audio, portfolios, source code of software that you've been creating, and it supports formative and summative assessment processes. We, of course, have a fully functional digital test tool, great for pre-unit knowledge checks, great for exit tickets, great for summative exam type of activities. So really powerful tool. And through some integration technologies, we allow you to also connect to third-party systems through a technology called LTI. What you really need to know about this is it means that other assessment solutions that you purchase can be tightly integrated into Itslearning. I want to do a deep dive into the assignment tool because it's really intuitive, but it's also really powerful. When we're asking students to collect digital work, firstly, you'll see that the students can really see what this task is asking them to do. And when the teacher is configuring the tool, they have a lot of different options here, which are super powerful. Things like peer assessment, where you ask students to assess each other, and then the teacher gives some final feedback and scores. Self-assessment, where you ask students to assess themselves during the submission of the work. You have things like group collaboration, anonymous submission, plagiarism control. And look how easy it is for the teacher to just select the option that they want to use and go ahead with that within their assignment tool. Adding files to the assignment is, of course, super easy. You can just drag and drop the file in from your desktop or click to connect directly to your cloud solution, whether it's Google Drive or SharePoint or Office 365. And we include a super convenient feature called the digital photocopier. And what this does is it takes a Microsoft or a Google document and it creates a unique copy for each individual student or group. So it saves the teacher a lot of time, and really creative teachers can find a lot of great uses for this. Let's have a look at it from the student perspective. Like I mentioned, it's very clear what the student has to do. The details are all described to them. They see the deadline. They see how they're going to be assessed. And the big green button saying answer assignment is right there as their call to action to always guide the student to the next step. In this example, the teacher has asked the students to complete a reflective journal and provided the template document for the students to work in. So teachers can really let their creativity run wild with this type of functionality, and it's incredibly helpful in the shift to distance learning. It's really great for collaborative writing. I showed earlier an example where Mona and John had created a group. Well, in this example, two users are working together to collaboratively work on a document right within the platform. And when we're assessing the document, teachers can easily use the Microsoft Word features to highlight and annotate the student's work. Really easy to provide feedback directly in the document without having to download, re-upload, and the student can continue working and do a formative loop type of process. Here's another area where we've included our powerful device-friendly audio and video features. Teachers might want to provide audio or video feedback, and you can do this with your mobile phone or directly in the platform using your webcam, or upload a pre-recorded video. So really powerful for language teaching, really powerful to personalize feedback, especially in the shift to distance education. Quickly about the peer assessment. When a student gets a new task, they can, when the peer assessment is due, students can very easily see that they've got a new task to assess other peers, and the teacher gets a full overview, and students can use the included rubric to assess the peers. Really nice process to save teacher time. Another popular feature is the learning path. This really helps us engage students by ways such as providing multiple ways for students to learn content, or using a gatekeeper type of activity. And that's something that I've set up here, a gatekeeper, where after the students consume some information, there's a test that they have to do, and they have to receive a certain percentage, 60% or 70%, in order to move on to the next sequence. One of my personal favorite features is the e-portfolio, and this is designed to meet the modern pedagogical needs of universities. So teachers can involve portfolio assessment and pedagogy in their course design, or students can opt to create and share their own work via their own portfolios. So John, he's a student in bioscience and language teaching, so these are course portfolios, but he's also created portfolios for his hobbies, computer programming and football. Every portfolio has individualized security settings. So in this example where John is making a computer programming portfolio, he may want to share that with employers who he's interested in applying for with a password so that he can be sure who is accessing that portfolio. Of course, portfolios should be easy to share and to export. We want students, when they're leaving the university, to make it easy to export all of their work and take it with them in their life journey. So make it easy to export, to retrieve the information, to share it with your employers. And like you can see, it's really intuitive and easy to use this portfolio feature. I want to show some reporting because follow-up with students is incredibly important, especially in the move to distant and hybrid education. We've created some actionable reporting called the 360-degree reports. They're available here within the course menu, and they're divided into three different categories: the activity report, the progress report, and the grades report. And what teachers love about this is from within all of the reports, we're looking at the activity report where we can see how active students have been in the course in the last 7 days. Teachers can right there reach out to the students, send notifications to their mobile phones to check in on their performance right within the reporting tool. The progress report is one of the favorites of teachers. It gives you a glance of the whole course and their progress towards the activities and resources within the course. By clicking directly on Edith's name, we can take a deep dive into her progress through the course. And again, we can reach out to her right away and see the activities that she has and hasn't completed, and check her progress through learning paths or informative assessments. and really take deep dives into each individual student. The grades report gives us an overview of student performance in both formative and summative assessments. We're using A to F at the moment, but easily a formative scale could be used. And then again, take a deep dive into individual students to see how they've been performing against certain types of activities and how they've been performing overall. So here in the bright red color, we can see that Edith has 2 tasks that are outstanding and passed the deadline. Some additional reporting to the 360 that we have is the status and follow-up section. My personal favorite is the alignment report. This is a tool that allows teachers to check how much their resources and activities are connected to the objectives. And secondly, the assessment report, which is a fully featured gradebook allowing powerful Excel-like functionality for importing and exporting grades and taking them out of Itslearning. I've showed some course type reporting, but I do want to end on this feature that we have called advanced reporting. And this is great for organizations as a whole who want to, either within Itslearning or via their own business intelligence software, to do deep dives into the analytics and the behavior within the learning platform. So these are available to administrators, and we also have modern ways of extracting the information so that it can be assessed within your own BI solution. So great enterprise level reporting as well. Okay. Finally, I want to end this webinar series. If you are interested in learning more about Itslearning, we've recently conducted 2 really great customer examples. The first is best practices for blended learning with Collège du Le Mans in Switzerland. And the second is how teachers at Stockholm University have adopted their teaching and learning during COVID-19. So itslearning.com, in our global section, you'll be able to find those 2 webinars and fact sheets about those case studies. And also on social media, we have our LinkedIn and Twitter channels, which are a great source for more information. So that ends our recording for today. I want to thank you all for joining. I appreciate you spending your time with us this morning, and I will check the question logs and respond to anyone who's asked a question within the next 24 hours or so. So please do check us out on social media and look up those webinar recordings for more information about Itslearning. All right. Thank you for joining us. Have a great day.